This is boxing heaven right now. This is boxing heaven. Absolutely, because you're seeing so many great fights coming up back to back. In this year, 2023, a lot of great matches this year in 2023. And we've been waiting for some of these matches for a couple years now, and we've been wanting to see a lot of these matches that are just now coming up this year. For a few years, people have been wanting to see Gervonta Davis fight against Ryan Garcia, and that's happening later this month on April 22nd. And, this is a very meaningful match for both Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, mainly because both fighters have an undefeated record. Both boxers, Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, have an undefeated record. And that means there's a lot in line, for both of their careers. If neither fighter, of course, wants to get a defeat on their record, because that would put a blemish on their record. And, in this era of boxing, everyone wants to stay undefeated thanks to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather changed boxing. Floyd Mayweather definitely changed the culture of boxing. Some may say for the good, some may say for the bad. Me personally, I say for the most part for the better. But, there's negative aspects. Some will say that how Mayweather impacted the culture of boxing. When I mean the culture of boxing, the culture of boxing, as far as the popular fighters, the very influential fighters who are the most skilled and talented boxers, a lot of people take after them. What they do have a lot of influence because, they have a large fan base. And they're polarizing athletes, boxers like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. These boxers transcended culture. Even aside from boxing, their influence was just across millions and millions and millions of people across the globe. Everybody know who Floyd Mayweather is. Everybody know who Mike Tyson is. Everybody know who Muhammad Ali is, because these people are actually more than just boxers. They transcended sports. Their influence, cultural influence from their talent, from their athletic talent, extended to mainstream culture. So that's very potent. So what these boxers do, like Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather in particular, and Muhammad Ali, whatever they did, was heard on the media. Whatever they did in the boxing matches, whatever the choices they made regarding an upcoming fight is going to be all over ESPN, all over the radio, all over their blogs, all over the newspaper, because, these famous athletes, in particular famous boxers, they get media coverage because who they are, because the talented boxers who they are. They get a lot of media coverage, so people pay attention to their every move. And when people who are boxing fans watch these boxers like Floyd Mayweather, they pay attention to Floyd Mayweather's boxing style, his boxing tendencies in the ring. They see that Floyd Mayweather is a defensive fighter. And Floyd Mayweather's style of fighting, in many ways, is boxers would want to replicate Floyd Mayweather's fighting style because that's a successful fighting style, and Floyd Mayweather being undefeated. So boxers, who idolize Floyd Mayweather, watch Floyd Mayweather's boxing style to replicate some of his tendencies, so they can themselves become a better boxer. So, and now, all the boxers want to be undefeated like Floyd Mayweather. All the boxers want to have a 0 on their record like Floyd Mayweather. And that could be both good and bad because, if a boxer wants to stay undefeated, they're going to have to train hard and keep their skills up to par and make sure they have the best defense and the best punching combinations and best boxing style, to keep that undefeated record. A boxer has to stay at a high level to keep defeating his opponents. That's just common sense, right? And that takes effort, time, skill. All these boxers have to work out and spar, and practice, spar, and, to keep their skill at top notch, to keep defeating these other boxers and becoming a better boxer themselves. So that's just like part of the dynamics of that. And but one of the ways it's bad that everyone's trying to be undefeated, all these boxers are trying to be undefeated, and one of the reasons why that can be bad in a sense is because when boxers want to stay undefeated, sometimes they might cherry pick weak opponents who they know that they can defeat. Some of these boxers, a lot of these boxers, they don't go against the best of the best. A lot of these boxers, since they want to stay undefeated, they're not fighting the best opponents. A lot of times nowadays we don't see the blockbuster fights that we want to. We're just now seeing some of these blockbuster fights coming up, like Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's rumored, I think it's almost official now, that fight's going down in June. We've been wanting to see Terrence Crawford box against Errol Spence for like 3 years now, and it's finally happening. We've been wanting to see Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis box against each other for a few years now, and it's finally happening. So a lot of these boxers, man, have been decking each other because, man, I don't know, man, because they must not be truly 100% confident in their abilities, and they're scared that they're going to get undefeated because everyone wants to be like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather had a huge influence on the culture of boxing. And a lot of these boxers, if they don't get... Floyd Mayweather also started another trend. Floyd Mayweather also started another trend. Floyd Mayweather made boxing more about money. You gotta remember, Floyd Mayweather's, one of his old nicknames was Money Mayweather. Of course, money means Floyd Mayweather was all about the money. Floyd Mayweather, he made himself a millionaire, a multi-millionaire off of his boxing, because all those millions and millions and millions and millions of people across the world and in the United States who are buying his pay-per-view fights, he gets a large chunk of that money off the pay-per-view from, Mayweather Entertainment. So Mayweather, Mayweather, he's a great businessman. So he made the sport of boxing all about money. If you don't give him a certain amount of money, you don't promise Floyd Mayweather at least $20 million per fight, then he'll say, man, you ain't getting a fight. And, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, because certain fighters won't get to fight some of the bigger names because, financial reasons or, there's a lot of business that goes into boxing. And we just have to be aware of that. Like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're using an excuse not to fight against each other, really probably more Errol Spence, because Terrence Crawford, he don't got a reason to be scared. Because whoever Terrence Crawford boxes against, Terrence Crawford always knocks out or stops his fucking opponent every fight. So Terrence Crawford's not the scary one. Errol Spence, he's scared. And, both of the sides were bickering about who's going to be the A side, who's going to be the B side, because, Floyd Mayweather made boxing about money. Boxers want to make sure they get the right cut, especially if they're superstars going into the fight. So there'll be delays about who gets a higher percentage, who gets a lower percentage in the fight. Because everyone wants to be greedy and have millions of dollars, because that's the trend Money Mayweather started. It's all about that money, the business in boxing. So Mayweather, he definitely had a big cultural influence on the sport of boxing. And I'm a fan of Mayweather, so, I salute him. And, man, yeah, Errol Spence fighting boxing Terrence Crawford. I want to see that one. I think Terrence Crawford's going to beat the fuck out of Errol Spence, to be honest. I think he is. I think Terrence Crawford's going to stop Errol Spence in the 10th round. Yeah. Man, because I just know. I just know it, man. Because I've seen both boxers fight. I've seen Terrence Crawford fight in a few matches. I've seen Errol Spence fight in a few matches. So I know both fighters' strengths and weaknesses. Errol Spence has some strengths. Terrence Crawford has some strengths. Errol Spence has some weaknesses, and Terrence Crawford has some weaknesses. But I think Errol Spence's weaknesses are a little bit more pronounced than Terrence Crawford's weaknesses. And Errol Spence's weaknesses is like he doesn't handle punches well. Terrence Crawford, he can eat a whole lot of punches. And Errol Spence, he can eat a whole lot of punches too, but the way he eats his punches looks a little bad. Like when Errol Spence, he doesn't take body punches well to the body. And you can just see by the way his body reacts, how his face reacts when he gets hit with the hard body punches. It's like he gets jittery, starts to back up and gets wobbly. He loses coordination and stuff when he gets hit hard in the body. And I don't think a hard hitter to the body like Terrence Crawford, I think a hard hitter to the body like Terrence Crawford can, at least drop Errol Spence. Maybe Errol Spence can get up after he gets dropped. I don't know, but shit, man. I don't know if he can repeatedly handle Terrence Crawford punching power, ability to his body for 12 rounds, And especially after the car accident, Errol Spence is not the same boxer after the car accident. I mean, he's still, at a high level, but he's not at, physically, he can never 100% be the boxer he was before the car accident, because, that car accident did a lot of bodily harm to him. And you saw Errol Spence, he came back after the car accident, and Spence fought Danny Garcia after the car accident, and Errol Spence did decent in that fight, but Errol Spence, you could tell by the way he was fighting against Danny Garcia that he wasn't the same person 100% physically after the car accident. The way he was moving slower. You know, he wasn't throwing as much punches. He wasn't throwing as much hard punches, but he still had some eye defense. But yeah, he fought again. Errol Spence fought against. Who did Errol Spence fight after Danny Garcia? Oh yeah, Errol Spence fought against Ugas. That was Errol Spence's last fight, Ugas. And Ugas is not even a hard puncher. Ugas is not a heavy puncher. He doesn't pack the heaviest punch. And Ugas, even though he doesn't pack the heaviest punch, he still managed to hurt Errol Spence. And I forgot what exact round, but he really was supposed to have a knockdown against Errol Spence, but they didn't call it. He punched Errol Spence several times back to the rope. And that was supposed to be a knockdown, but they didn't call it. And if Ugas was more of a volume puncher and kept punching Errol Spence, he could have knocked Errol Spence out. So Errol Spence, if Ugas can almost knock out and have a knockdown against Errol Spence, and he's like a soft pillow puncher compared to Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford hits your ass hard. Whoever Terrence Crawford fights against, he knocks out. Terrence Crawford, I think he's gonna not stop Errol Spence in the 10th round. I believe so. And that's what Errol Spence is real scared of. That's why Errol Spence is so hesitant and always making excuses. So why he cannot finalize a contract against Terrence Crawford. Man, Terrence Crawford not the scary one, man. Terrence Crawford knock your ass out, man. Errol Spence, he's the scary one because he know he can't handle that punching power ability of the Terrence Crawford. He know he can't, especially after the car accident. You got Devin Haney, Lomachenko. Interesting matchup. I don't know. To me, that's a 50-50 fight. It's in May. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch it, of course. And you also have, of course, Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia coming up April 22nd in a few weeks. I'm definitely going to be watching that one live, of course. And you already know I'm rooting for Gervonta Davis. Ryan Garcia, to me, that's a 50-50 fight. It's going to be, man, I'm going to watch it, man. Like they say, whoever wins in this Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis boxing match, it's going to be the face of boxing. And hopefully Gervonta Davis steps up and shows who, he's a better fighter than Ryan Garcia. And, I'm hoping Gervonta Davis goes for the knockout or the stoppage against Ryan Garcia. He might as well go for it. And, Gervonta Davis, he's definitely going to have to, hopefully, Gervonta Davis said it himself that he's been working on his defense because he doesn't want to get hit by those hard punches of Ryan Garcia. And that's a good thing because Gervonta Davis, he doesn't have the physical advantage in this fight, so he definitely has to use this defense because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be on the end of Ryan Garcia's hard body punches, the body hooks and shit. Ryan Garcia, he can knock your ass out with he can stop you with his fucking hard ass body punches. And Gervonta Davis, he's gonna have to work. You gotta have to be quick in and out, and have the best defense. You gotta be smooth. Use his feet. Use his quick, footwork to maneuver around Ryan's punches. And Ryan Garcia, he keeps his chin up. Ryan Garcia, he has a horrible tendency of keeping his chin up when he throws punches. So if Gervonta Davis can catch Ryan Garcia with his chin up at the right time and knock out Ryan Garcia, you already know Gervonta Davis can knock you out and catch you at the right time, at the right exact moment. Because Gervonta Davis caught Roland Romero, knocked him out at the right 100% correct moment. Caught Ryan Garcia. Gervonta Davis caught Roland Romero wide open. Boom, uppercut, knocked his ass out. And that's how Gervonta Davis beat Roland Romero. That shit was crazy. I've been waiting for this fight for a while. Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia, and this is gonna be a blockbuster. Everyone's gonna be watching this one. All right, you guys, peace.